Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the AEW Dynamite for 10/27 to 2021. That review. Anyway, we open with CM Punk defeating Bobby Fish. Some people say this is Punk's worst match since coming back, but he's selling a knee from several weeks. And again, long-term selling is so foreign in wrestling that people don't even understand it anymore. Slower paced match. Finishes a little odd. Early portion of the match features stalling from Fish. Neither man really gets a clear advantage during the early stages, and then they wear each other down with holds. Punk uses a series of body slams, which he's actually gotten the body slams over and soaks up crowd reaction. Teases an early GTS, but Fish grabs the ropes and fights out. Punk clotheslines Fish out of the ring and then landed a tope, driving Fish into the barrier. Punk then looks for top rope elbow drop. Fish then rolls out and trips Punk, sending him crashing to the apron. This allows Fish to target Punk's left knee and dominate with strikes and holds. Fish maintained control for a long time. They fight on the top rope where Punk was able to send Fish back to the mat, and then he lands 1 foot elbow drop and gets the better of the strike exchange to start the comeback. Punk hits a neck breaker and a rising corner knee and a short arm clothesline combination. Fish counters a GTS with Dragon Screw. Punk cradles Fish, who bridges out. Punk then hits the GTS out of nowhere to win, and then Fish kicks out at the very last second. Looked like a little miscommunication, but also could be considered that um, Fish barely came back too right as the 3 was counted, so it doesn't necessarily have to be miscommunication in that case. Michael Black video plays. He addresses Cody, saying he turned his family against him and made the crowd hate him. The house always wins. Anyway, MJF with Wardlow and Shawn Spears defeated Bryce Donovan. Uh, MJF whips Donovan into the corner, hits a heat seeker for a quick squash win. Post match, MJF cuts a promo. He insults Boston a ton. Darby chant breaks out, and then they turn their attention to Allen, who said he broke him mentally. Now that Allen's out of his hair, there's nothing stopping MJF from his destiny. After Full Gear, it doesn't matter who wins between Omega or Page because MJF is the future world champion. Sting's music plays, and out he comes. And then MJF cracks himself up with the roofs of the basically the fact that Sting doesn't come out. So lights go back on again, and this time video plays of Allen beating up someone dressed like MJF. Anyway, lights come back on. Sting is in the ring and whacks Wardlow and Spears with the bat. Allen appeared in the crowd and sent MJF running up the ramp. He then produced the thumbtack addle skateboard and smacked it over Wardlow's back. He then has 2 words for MJF, and those are Full Gear. Britt Baker, Rebel, and Jamie Hayter backstage with Tony Schiavone. This Friday, Baker will have a trick or treat match. No disqualification with Abaddon for the Women's Championship. Baker says she's got some tricks of her own. I think that's horrible, and I'm sorry, but the Abaddon thing belongs on indie shows, not on national television. Anyway, Guevara defeats Ethan Page. If Guevara wins, the Inner Circle gets to choose who they face at Full Gear. If Page wins, Guevara must leave the Inner Circle. Guevara runs down the ramp, attacks before the bell. He sends Page to the floor and lands a flip dive before tossing Page over the timekeeper's table. Once back in the ring, the match finally starts, and Guevara has an answer for everything. Page throws him out until Page crotches Guevara over the top turnbuckle, sends him to the floor. Once back from commercial, Guevara fights out Ego's Edge and makes a comeback with a clothesline and enziguri. He lands a nice double springboard cutter and standing Spanish fly for 2 count. A top rope shooting star press, standing Page on the floor follows up, and then Page counters the GTH and hits an Iconoclasm, follows by the inside out slam for near fall. Page then slams Guevara off the top rope, and a running shoulder tackle followed by two more. Page then goes for a top rope Ego's Edge, but Guevara reverses it into a Rana and then cradles Page for the win and retain the championship belt. After the match, Scorpio Sky comes out, and he and Page beat down Guevara. The Inner Circle runs out and makes the save. Jericho cuts a promo. He respects Sky and has beaten him twice, but Page beats only himself in his hotel room. Haha. Third grade humor. Anyway, Guevara wins, so that will be 5-on-5 Full Gear tag match. I hate these 10-man tag matches. I've mentioned that before, but it's between American Top Team and Inner Circle, and then it'll be a Minneapolis street fight next week. The Inner Circle will decide which members of American Top Team they face. Bryan Danielson and Eddie Kingston are backstage with Tony Schiavone. They will face off in the World Championship Eliminator Tournament. Kingston is insulted by Danielson's prior comments, accusing Danielson of not walking a mile in his shoes. Danielson said that this is the Kingston he wants to see. He's been through it too, but he doesn't complain about it. Some of the best wrestlers in the world are in the tournament, but Friday night, Danielson will prove that he's the best. Lucha Brothers backstage with Tony Schiavone. Penta laid down the challenge to FTR in Spanish, then Phoenix does the same thing in English. I don't know. Fine. Hikaru Shida defeats Serena Deeb in the TBS Championship Tournament. This is definitely a good match. Anyway, Shida lands an inside-out suplex early and sends her to the break. Upon return, Shida hits a running knee and sliding forearm, and a missile dropkick followed by a delayed vertical suplex for near fall. There's a bunch of striking, counter-striking, and pinning attempts, leading to a Spider German and an inverted slam from Shida for a 2 count. A sliding knee from Shida gets yet another near fall. Deeb then takes control and looks to lock on the cradle, but Shida kicked out and sends Deeb to the floor. Shida then sets up her chair. Deeb then hits it, has it scouted, but Shida improvised by stepping up the stairs and landing a running dropkick. Deeb then triples Shida up and locks her in the figure 4 over the ring post. Deeb grabs Shida a 50 win plaque, but Shida has it scouted. Shida then hits Deeb with a plunge, or thinks about it, but or tries to hit her with the plaque, but then the official takes it away. Deeb pokes Shida's eye and cradles her for a great near fall. Another pinning attempt series with Shida finally picking up the win. After the match, Deeb grabs a chair and smashes it over Shida's leg, then continues to dismantle Shida's knee until officials run in. Lio Rush and Dante Martin are backstage with Schiavone. They propose a tag match between Rush and Martin against the Seidels, but the match is off due to Mike's injury. So it'll be Martin versus Matt Seidel. Into singles action, Rush then implied that the Seidels were ducking him, saying that his in-ring debut would come at another time. Unlike Matt Seidel, Rush cares about teaching Dante about the business. World Championship Elimination Tournament in what really amounts to a squash. Jon Moxley defeats 10. Moxley immediately lands German suplex and stomps 10 down in the corner, sends 10 into the ring steps, and rips apart his mask. 10's busted open, and Moxley hits the paradigm shift for a win in less than 2 minutes. Then we go to FTR and Tully Blanchard backstage. They waited almost a year to get back the championships. Come Full Gear, Lucha Brothers will have to do something they've never done before. Fight and that was the line of the night for me anyway. Cody Rhodes defeats Andrade. Not bad. Anyway, Cody comes out to the ring with Arn Anderson and met with a bunch of boos. He says, whether I believe it or not, I hear you. He then hits Tiger Driver 98 to win against Malachi Black. But for a brief moment, he thought about hitting a different move, a pedigree. He didn't do that because it's too easy. This is obviously a face-to-face interview. If I didn't clarify that before, he asked the fans to not forget the person who built this place. He tosses his shoes to the crowd and asks them to take a moment in them. Cody debuted when he was 20. His wife is too hot for him, and his brother's better than him. He'll never leave behind the cultural legacy of his father, Dusty. I will not turn because I love you guys very much. He then turned to Arn Anderson and said it's an honor to stand in the ring with him. Before shaking his hand, Andrade interrupts and said that people don't like him or Cody because of their differences. The differences, Andrade doesn't care. Cody makes stupid choices like getting in Andrade's business. If Cody wants Andrade, he can make him, well, his punk. And the lights went out and Malachi Black appears, spraying mist in Cody's face. He and Andrade beat down Cody and Arn, and Pac runs out to send the heels packing. Rampage for 10:29. Bryan Danielson versus Eddie Kingston in the World Title Eliminator Tournament. Dante Martin and Matt Sydal, Trick or Treat match, Britt Baker and Abaddon. Then we move to AEW Dynamite for the 3rd of November. Can't believe we're in November already. Cody Rhodes versus Andrade. TBS Championship Tournament. Anna Jay and Jamie Hayter. And Jon Moxley versus Orange Cassidy for the World Champion Eliminator Tournament. Anyway, Dark Order comes out in Halloween costumes. The Elite come out in Ghostbusters theme song, remade theme song and all. Obviously, this is your main event. This is not my idea of a good main event by any stretch of the imagination. Of course, I don't imagine anyone would think this is a good main event anyway, unless you're just a fanboy for the promotion. Anyway, people say this is entertaining. I think it's goofy. AEW is, it can be fun, but main event is not the place to be goofy and fun. Silver gets an advantage against Cole early on and mocks the boom chant. Omega and Uno tag in, and the Elite distracts the official, allowing things to break down and the Elite to take control. Both teams take turn making fun of each other before the break. Dark Order makes a comeback upon return. Grayson hits back-flipping knee strike and reaches Cabana for the hot tag. Lands a springboard moonsault press followed by a bionic elbow series. Superman pin nearly gets the win, but it's broken up by Cole. Cabana runs and cuts off a super kick from Nick. Silver goes for a bunch of offense, concluding with a German on Nick Buck, and then he runs into a super kick, and Omega crushes him with a Snapdragon suplex, super kick, Ushinagi combination, and a pin attempt broken up by Grayson. Uno comes back in and hits a neck breaker with help from the referee, which I hate. We then go on a parade of moves, ending with Matt Buck super kicking the official. Grayson goes for the Nightfall, but Matt low blows him before. I remember the Dark Order takes low blows of their own. The Elite crush the Dark Order with their Ghostbusters protein packs before hitting a triple powerbomb on Cabana through the protein packs. Other Dark Order members come out, get involved, and there's one dressed like a horse, and the Elite low blowed him and hit the BTE trigger. He is unmasked, and it's Brandon Cutler, the guy who they thought was Cutler. The Marshmallow Man unmasks, and it's Hangman Page. Anyway, Paige hits the buckshot lariat on Matt before Grayson lands a moonsault on the pile. Deadeye follows, then Silver hits a spin doctor for the win, pinning Matt Buck, and then they go off the air. Ultimately, this is a fine television match, but it's not main event quality. And also, I mean, it'd be great if this was PWG or an independent show. Great, send everyone home. But it doesn't advance stories. It doesn't do anything other than fill TV time. And I don't think that a national promotion should be doing that in a main event. Maybe in Seg 2, Seg 3, but not in a main event environment. Anyway, we'll be back with more right after this.